Hello again, I am Blunty, and my schedule's been blown to hell today, which means I can't do what I wanted to do, but it does mean I have a short amount of time in which to make a video about this news. It seems poker fans' speculation, assumptions, and rumor mongering and the fan-generated hype machine is in full swing again today. According to a Reddit post, which sources a NeoGAF post, which sources, well, a guess based on some website maintenance Nintendo is doing, Pokemon Stars is about to be announced. Now, this assumption is based on the fact that apparently Nintendo have removed the Nintendo Direct video and reveal trailer relating to Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon from their own website. Once noticed, this triggered some random person to leap to the conclusion that this was done so potential customers aren't confused by this older game footage, this pixely game footage, this worse-looking game footage and announcement details for when Nintendo announced Pokemon Stars in high resolution for the Nintendo Switch. Wild guesswork and baseless assumptions aside, this isn't actually that impossible, which is why people are freaking out about it. I haven't actually read the Reddit post mentioned, mainly because Reddit is largely a hive of morons and severe head injury outpatients acting like experts, and every time I do read a Reddit thread, I feel like I actually get dumber for the effort. But it is a bit unusual for Nintendo to do something like this. For example, the Nintendo Direct for Pokemon X and Pokemon Y still stands on their Nintendo Direct archive page. And it is absolutely a fact that mid to late May is almost always the timing when we get the first official news about a new Pokemon game. This timing has actually been very consistent over the last sort of decade and a half. Nintendo and Game Freak start the hype machine up in mid to late May, then over the following 6 months or so, they dribble out more and more information, just a little bit at a time, to try and get the snowball of hype just sort of building up and building up and building up as it rolls down the mountain towards launch time. For example, for the new Pokemon game entries, we'll see the starters, then a little bit later we'll get some pictures of some new Pokemon, usually leaked from a certain Japanese magazine. Then we'll get some pictures of the evolutions of the new starters, and then more about the world map, and then more about the new features, and on and on and on it goes, and finally we get the big reveal and official trailers, and the marketing push goes into full swing for a launch somewhere around October to November. This has been a long-established pattern. And there is certainly some convincing evidence for a Nintendo Switch-based Pokemon game coming up next. I won't go over it in detail here. I do actually have a separate video on that already, if you're curious. But in short, some of the strongest, for want of a better word, evidence revolves around some details from people data mining Sun and Moon, and a job listing from Game Freak themselves, asking for someone to work on high-resolution 3D graphics for a very popular RPG series, with a predicted start and end date for the job lining up pretty much exactly with what you'd expect a Pokemon game launch to be like. So, if we do indeed have a new Pokemon game headed towards us in time for Christmas this year, we'll almost certainly be hearing about it very soon. I mean, like within the next week or two. That is, with little question. But it's the deletion of the Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon Direct videos and reveal trailers from Nintendo's own archives, both on the American side and the Japanese side, that is raising some questions about exactly what we'll see. The timing, at least, does seem suspicious. If it is indeed the long-rumoured fan codenamed Pokemon Stars, we'll finally be getting the long fan-demanded mainline Pokemon RPG on home consoles. Do Nintendo even have the manufacturing capacity to keep up with Switch orders at this point if they have a Pokemon coming for it? They do seem to be struggling with back orders still. And perhaps, most importantly, most vitally, what colour will the inevitable tie-in Joy-Con controllers be? I mean, if it's called Pokemon Stars or something, perhaps a dusky midnight purple would be appropriate. Actually, they'd be pretty rad. I'd buy those. What do you think? What are we in for? Are we going to get Pokemon Stars on Nintendo Switch in the next, what is it now, 7 months away-ish? I think we might. I'm actually, it's probably just the Pokemon fan in me really, really hoping we do, because I've been waiting for a console-based mainline Pokemon RPG for, a decade and a half pretty easily. I want it. I need it. I need it in my life. Hook it into my veins! Thanks for watching. I am Blunty, and I'll catch you next time.